I watched the Newbie, so you don't have to. So episode 3 is in the books, and whew, it's not good, guys. It's not good. Before I get into the video, I just want to say, if you are boycotting, if you are doing the trends, that's great for you. I am not one of those people. Do not come here trying to push your agenda on me. I don't like being told what to do, and I am not a part of anything that is political, that is a social movement. That ain't my life. Don't put that on me. I'm gonna do me and you do you, boo. All right, let's get into this video. I couldn't resist and I watched it, so you don't have to. Like I said, I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm really nosy, and I kind of want to watch this dumpster fire with popcorn. So I'm here. So let's get into it. So the episode 3 starts with a voiceover in Thai with no English translation. I don't know what the voiceover is about. I have no idea. They introduced the top 10 people because the last episode it was 15, so they narrowed it down to 10. They don't introduce each person. I only know who these people are if someone else says their name. So like they come in, they're like, oh hey, so and so, oh hey, I'm glad you made it, blah blah. They don't put their names on the screen whatsoever. You don't know what's going on. The second contestant made a comment about the announcement being made. It was supposed to be made at 4 p.m., but it actually happened at 6 p.m. So they thought they didn't make it. Talk about unprofessionalism. Okay, there. They also blindfolded them. So they're like, I'm unclear about this. So they blindfolded them and they put them all in the same van and drove over to the house that they're at right now for the newbie house. Weird. Why? That just seems kind of weird. Why'd you just bring them over one by one? But like, why they even need to be blindfolded? It's just so weird. Okay. Noom did make it, Dr. Juan Viva, and she said it felt like I was being kidnapped. One contestant wasn't sure what they saw in her, and I have to say I agree. Most of these people are bored. All of the 3 Graces got through. Grace is Happy, Crit Grace, and Galaxy Grace. Galaxy Grace is the one that the fans are hating on because they think that she's going to get paired with Yoko, and she probably is, but unfortunate for her because it's not her fault. Like, she's just trying to act, but people are awful. I think she had to close her social media because people were attacking her. It's just so ridiculous. This is why I don't join boycotts and stuff like that, because people don't act right. Mint is back. She is the host for this episode. She says that they are in the newbie house. Ask them to come up with stage names and practice remembering them. Then tells what the mission of the day is, and it's a battle for a private bedroom. And they have to play a game called Werewolf. And then the part 1 just ends. It just ends. That's it. Okay. Then we go to part 2. Mint explains the game. It's like a board game, I guess, but it was with a newbie style. She starts with setting the setting and the roles. There's 5 villagers, 2 werewolves. The villagers can kill the werewolves. There's a serial killer. There's a seer. There's a mad girl. It's all very complicated, and even the players are confused. They're like, some of them have never played it before. Okay, it's so weird. They cut to a different scene, and they're in a different room. Each player pulls a card to show which role they're going to play. The first game they play, they have 5 pairs of 2, obviously, and they have to eat a donut hanging from a string off of a tree or something like that. And so you had to jump, and it was high up. So you had to jump on your partner's back and eat the donut. And if you could eat a bite of the donut, then you won. You won that particular game, and you weren't going to get eliminated. I was like, what? It was so weird. 3 pairs passed. The villagers can vote, and the werewolves can't hurt you. It was so confusing. They go back in the house. They vote who is the werewolf. Many people are saying they don't understand the game. They point at each other to vote. They'd be like, Unil had the most votes, and so she is eliminated. And she happens to be the mad girl, and that means that the game is technically over when the mad girl is eliminated. And so she retires to another room to watch the rest of what's happening. But they're like, oh, so the game's over, right? The rest of them the game's over, and they're like, oh no, and it's we're gonna still keep playing. I'm like, what the? Okay, so they keep playing the game. They close their eyes, and the players choose more people to eliminate, and then 4 Wheel is gone. And I guess she was a villager, and then part 2 just ends. It just ends. Then we get to part 3, another new game. It's called Water, Land, Sky, and this is also a part of this werewolf game, I guess. So you guess something or you say something according to land, water, and sky. Idea is out immediately. She says, the first thing she says is incorrect, and she's out. Noom and another person can't remember any what other people say, and if you say some what someone else says. I think you're out. I don't know. It's very confusing. The Pam, she's a seer, and Grace, the villager, get eliminated. Then there's another mini game. It's called a matching game. It's 28 tiles, 14 matching. They had to find 7 matching tiles within 3 minutes. So they go up one by one and try to flip them and get them correct. They are able to do it, but they have like 20 seconds left. Then they do another elimination vote. Idea is eliminated. She happens to be a werewolf. There's 5 players left. There's a serial killer, and the serial killer eliminates Galaxy Grace, and she happens to be a villager. And then part 3 abruptly ends. Again, what am I even saying? The things that are coming out of my mouth, like, what is happening? I don't know what's going on. Nothing is really being explained. The players don't really know what's going on. We're just here. So we're just out here. Every time someone's eliminated, they go to this room and they watch on the monitor as everyone else plays the game. All right. So then we go to part 4, the last part. All the previous parts are about 12 to 13 minutes. And honestly, I would say they're 5 minutes too long. Each episode is 5 minutes too long. It shouldn't be this long because it's boring. I'm really confused about what's even happening, and it's not very engaging, to be honest. And then this last part is 18 and a half minutes long. Okay, they do another mini game, Q&A, all right? 5 correct answers in 2 minutes. Noom reveals herself as the werewolf. She just tells them. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And they decide that they need to get rid of either a serial killer or a werewolf, not knowing who's who. They end up picking Holly, and she is the serial killer. Then there's 3 finalists left. Unil, she's a mad girl. Sorrow and Crit Grace are villagers. But only one person can win this game. So they have to play another game. They play Make My Pulse Rise If You Can. The 3 winners choose a partner to make their heart race, and they monitor it on like a medical device, like like you have 1 minute. You do what you want. Crit Grace chooses 4-wheel, and she tries to tickle her. She physically like kind of moves her around, which they're like, hey, you can't do that. She talks to her about doing something. She gets her BPM up to 103 beats per minute. Sorrow chooses Unil, and it's kind of funny because both of them are the last 3, so they have to like do it to each other. So Unil goes first. She's the one trying to make her excited, and she jumps, scares her, and tries tickling her, and she gets her heart rate, her beats per minute up to 139 beats per minute. Then they have them switch, right? Because they're 2 of the finalists. I believe Sorrow tries to like tickle Unil, and then during this situation, her like trying to tickle her and get her beats per minute up, they briefly cut to Sorrow being interviewed like in another room, and there's no audio. It's just like there's just no audio. Like what the fuck? She gets her up to 123 beats per minute. Okay, so Sorrow wins the private room because she had the highest heartbeat or something. I don't know. It's very confusing. But then they say at the end, she's like, okay, yeah, you won the private room, and you get to pick someone to share it with. What? The whole point of this in the beginning, they said it was a private room. So it's not private then if she has to share it with somebody. That don't make no sense. So this is I guess it's nighttime now. Mint leaves, letting them know that they will have a new game and mission tomorrow between 7 and 8 a.m. The rest of the group are sleeping in one room. It's like a big room, and it has like 8 beds all next to each other. Okay, they're all like just what is going on? They all have like one bag and a backpack, because I guess they're gonna stay there for like a couple of nights to do this show. And they like all talk about like the shower queue, because there's only 2 bathrooms, and they're like joking. They're like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to get up at like 5:30 a.m. And some of them are like, I just won't shower then. They go to bed. Cut to Sorrow and Unil in their private room, and there's only 1 bed, but it's a big circle bed. Okay, sure. And a personal bathroom. They go to bed. They just go to sleep. Then there's a voiceover in Thai again at the end of the show. No translations again. The show is over. It ends with like a photo collage of the contestants, and then it ends with like the Moondu Productions logo, which is really funny because Moondu recently said that they don't work with 9star anymore or this Newbie project. So that's pretty hilarious. Yeah, that's the end of the show. That's it, y'all. That's it. It's terrible. Let's go over the stats, because I think that's important before I get into like my final thoughts. When I watched it, it was like 18 hours after it had been posted. So they likely have a few more thousand posts, and I'll look again at the end to add that. But when I watched it, 18 hours in, the views were terrible. It was part 1 had 6K views, 67 comments, mostly negative. Maybe 20% were positive or asking people to be nice to the contestants. Part 2 had 4K views, 21 comments, all negative, 1 positive. Part 3 had 3K views, 35 comments, mostly sad comments about disrespecting FayeYoko, and 2 positive comments, and those were like about Noom basically and Holly. And then part 4 had 4K views, somehow had more than the third part, I don't know how that works, and 74 comments, all negative comments except 1 for Noom and 2 for Holly. I looked again recently and I looked up the numbers, and it's been about 1.5, 2 days since it came out, right? Because it came out on Saturday and it's Monday today. And those viewership numbers are basically the same. So part 1 has 7.5K views, 2 5K, 3 4K, and part 4 6.5K views. I also saw that Noom auditioned for Heart Pop Studios, Ice's new company. So I don't think she's even a part of this anymore. I don't know if she got eliminated or she was just like, I'm a dip after all the stuff that happened. I'm not sure. And then other people, what people did say, the nice things they did say were pretty much only about Noom and Holly. And I have to agree, both of them were the only interesting people in this group who had any charisma, who seemed to be engaging, and I wanted to watch more of. Everyone else, I was like, these are some random people, some random Thai girls who, and I hate to say it, are kind of average looking. Sorry, I am not familiar with Thai media just yet, right? I'm only doing these Thai GLs. I don't know about the other types of media. I don't know if this is like a normal show format. Is this a popular format? Maybe this is culturally, this is interesting to the locals. I don't know. But for me as a Westerner, from a Westerner point of view, it's not interesting, and neither are the contestants. We don't know anything about them, and most of them are kind of average people, like from a GL standpoint, right? I'm just not that impressed. I've seen just more interesting people or characters or what have you. The production quality is actually quite good. Moondu Productions did a fantastic job of setting this up, and the filming and everything, and the sound for the most part, except for the editing. Editing might not be Moondu. The show itself is not good. It's very, very boring. We are 3 episodes in, and I don't understand the show really. Like, I don't know what the end game is. Like, are we supposed, like, what's going to happen? Like, is it going to be like the top 3 people or top 5 people will be able to be a part of the company? Is it only one person? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. And then the fact that they had the audio issues and the translation issues, that's ridiculous to me. But you can't do that. That is just like something so simple. How can you fuck that up? And that, I think that says a lot about the company. So one of the contestants, I think her name was Lynn Yada. Yeah, Lynn Yada. Her account is private, but this came from her. No, it came from her Instagram. It says Crown Squad team has appointed that Lynn Yada is no involvement with the program, The Newbie by 9star. So Lynn Yada was on there, and I would say maybe Lynn Yada is also maybe a little bit interesting, but ultimately, they didn't do anything to really highlight her. She is no longer a part of the project, and she posted on her Instagram, I think, about her Instagram stories, letting people know from her company, I guess her another company. I don't know what is this Crown Squad team? I don't know. But basically saying that she wasn't a part of the production, and that if there's any negative comments that they would be pursuing legal action. So like everybody is getting attacked, right? Like I said, Galaxy Grace, whatever, she had to disable her social media because people were throwing hate at her. Again, which is so ridiculous. It's not her fault, guys. Like, leave this girl alone. Leave people alone. You don't need to be like, you don't have to have vitriol and be nasty and call people names. You can just boycott and be quiet. Just be quiet. That is what happened. That is The Newbie. Like I said, I'm a glutton for punishment. It's a terrible show. You don't have to watch it. Please don't watch it. Honestly, just let me watch it. Let me painfully watch it and then summarize it for you. Even though my summaries aren't good because I don't even know what's going on. I'm like trying to tell you what's happening, and it's so confusing. But here we are. I'm watching this dumpster fire, and it's kind of interesting. I guess it's kind of interesting overall. It's interesting, but again, the show is terrible. Don't watch it. Save yourself some time. Enjoy your boycott. No matter what is going on, I really hope that FayeYoko are doing well and that they are happy. That's all I can really say. Don't watch The Newbie. You don't need to. Trust me. Mod systemet vi bokser. De andre hopper som lopper, imens jeg også er en hosser.